Good morning, preps, and welcome to writing this week at home. We're going to be doing something a little bit different in writing this week. We're going to be looking at our inquiry, which is what places are special in my community. And part of that inquiry is looking at special places in Dreamtime stories. And we have a story today to start us off. This is called Dunby the Owl, which we're going to read in just a moment. But before we do, I want to talk to you about the different parts that make up a story, because there's lots of different parts, even in stories that aren't Dreamtime stories. Other narratives that you might read at home, other picture books, maybe mum and dad read some big chapter books to you sometimes. They all have characters in them. That's one part of the story. So the characters, they might be animals, they might be people, they might be made up like monsters, but they're the ones that are in the story and the action is happening to them. Tomorrow we're going to learn about setting. That's another part to the story. That's the place where it all happens. And then we're going to have a look at the beginning, the middle, and the ending part of the story. So today, while we read this book, I want you to be thinking about what characters are in the story. You can see one here on the very front cover. It's called Dunby the Owl. So now we know his name. His name is Dunby. And he's an owl and he looks a little bit different, doesn't he? If you look up really nice and close, you can see he's got lots of things sticking out of his body. That's not normally how we think owls look. And this story talks about what happens with that. So let's read it together now. Dunby the Owl. An Aboriginal story told by Daisy Utamora, and the pictures were done by Pamela Lofts. In the time before time began, a tribe of people lived on their land near the coast. Every day, the children would play beside the river. "Look what I found," called a boy from high up in a tree. It was Dunby, the first owl. The boy tossed the owl out of the tree. You can see Dunby looks a little bit shocked, doesn't he? The children grabbed Dunby and bounced him into the air. Ooh, I wonder how Dunby, the main character, is starting to feel now. I wonder how you'd be feeling if you were getting bounced into the air. I think I would be a little bit scared. They pulled out his feathers. They bounced him up again. Then they stuck sharp blades of spinifex grass into him. You can see he looks shocked here. This is reminding me of the front cover. So it's big sharp blades of grass stuck into his body. They threw him up once more. "Go on, use your new wings. Let's see you fly now, owl." Higher and higher went Dunby, till he disappeared over the clouds. I wonder if he's trying to escape them. The children waited. Then they heard a roar. Wanaliri, the great Wandjina, saw what they had done to Dunby, his son. And quite often in Dreamtime stories, there is a spirit that sometimes could be like the sun, sometimes could be different. Wanaliri shook with rage. Ooh, he looks angry. This is another character in this story. He commanded the lizard to paint himself and dance about the plains and gather up all the clouds. Well, these clouds look angry, don't they? Very dark. The angry Wandjina blew a great big wind and thunder rolled around the clouds and lightning split the sky. How do you think the angry Wandjina is feeling? Well, it tells us he's angry and it seems like he's really mad. He's created lots of storms. It rained and rained and rained. And the flood reached all the people below. They tried to escape, but it was too late. They all drowned in the swirling water. All that is, except for one man and one woman who grabbed the tail of a kangaroo. Looks a bit like a moon, doesn't it, this tail? They clung to the kangaroo as it swam till it reached high ground. The only people left in the flood. There, they climbed to safety, and the man and the woman became the first of the new tribe. So that we were born, so we go on being born. And still today, we are forbidden to harm owls because we remember what happened in that long ago time. And that's the end of the story. Quite often, Dreamtime stories have been written to pass on to generations, to tell a message, to tell a story. And I wonder if you're thinking, what do you think the message is there? Why would the Aboriginal elders have told all their people about that? Perhaps it's to protect the animals, like Dumby, so that we don't harm them. To be really careful with nature. And so that message might have been passed down and down to all the tribes to look after the country that they live in. So this book is Dunby the Owl. And remember, today we're looking at characters as part of our special investigation into stories. So your job today is to draw some of the characters from that story. And I was thinking you might like to draw Dunby. You might like to draw when Dunby at the beginning of the book, and maybe even after he got the blades of grass in him, and maybe even at the end. There's a couple of different ways you could do it. Now you pop that book over here. I remember at the beginning of the story, I might use a grey lead just to get my outlines right. There was Dunby, and he was up in the tree at the very beginning. I might draw my tree. And then I can draw little Dunby, and I think he had a nice little body. And he was different colours. He had a big wing. And I might just check that page just to refresh my memory. That's why I thought it was a blue wing. And he's just sitting there minding his own business. And he's got his little beak. And I thought he was pretty happy at the beginning of the story. But then that changed, didn't it, as the story went on. I'm just going to colour it in. Now that I've got my outline, I'm colouring my picture in. It doesn't have to be exactly the same colours that were in the story. This is your version of what Dunby looked like. I might do some leaves. Oh, running a bit short on green here. There we go. And then I thought I might draw. You could even draw some of the kids in the book that threw him up. I'm going to draw Dunby down here a bit like the front cover. And I'm going to draw him big face. And his beak. And then And then now I'm going to just shade it in. So if you hold your zoom on the side, you won't hurt your hand while you shade a big area. And try and keep your zoom going the same way in your pencil. It makes it look more even. And then I'm going to do the Spinifex grass, the big sharp blades of Spinifex grass being stuck into him. And just colouring his face. When you use that mixture between shading and not shading, then you can see the outlines on there. And because this is my character, the main character of the story, I might write some words on my page. I might do some labelling. So up here I could write Dumby in the tree. And then I might write down here, I might write Dunby. And then I wonder how he's feeling. How would you be feeling if you'd been thrown up in the air and lots of kids had stuck blades of grass on you? I think he might be sad. I think Dumby might be feeling a little bit scared and worried. And if you don't know all the sounds, that's okay, preps. You're just having a go today. I'd love you to try and draw Dumby. You might even want to try and draw the big spirit, Wangina, and you might like to have a go at labelling your pictures too. Good luck. I'll see you tomorrow.